Well, hello ladies and gentlemen, I hope you can see me. I'm being very careful at the minute because the ground is frozen. So the path I'm walking down is like an ice rink. I'm coming down with flu. Lucy's already got it, she's in bed. Only way I can tell where I'm going now is by feeling grass on my left foot. So I couldn't stay in house. You know when you feel all groggy and your face feels numb like pins and needles and you're feeling absolutely dreadful? Well, I feel like that, so I thought I need to get some fresh air and to kick my senses back into play. So I've decided to come out to the woods to find some tinder to make a natural fire with a fire steel, to get a cup of coffee, because that's good, isn't it? I should have really been bringing a flu Beechams or something like that, but no, I will stick with coffee. And then we're going to go look for some cordage, because that's what you do when you're coming out with flu and you feel crap and it's 12 o'clock at night. I've got a weird tendency, I don't think my body clock's right. So it's 12 o'clock at night, it's freezing, it's absolutely drenched wet through and it's now freezing. So finding tinder is going to be interesting because the surface of everything now, because it's just stopped raining, it snowed quite heavily earlier and then it rained. Everything's going to be drenched wet through, so rather than being able to take the surface layer off things, I'm going to have to remove the surface layer and try to get to the fine layers underneath, making sure I don't damage the plant, the tree or whatever. So come with me on my wonderful journey. I've got the gasifier stove. I was watching my friend Carl Dobson on Sierra Survival, lovely bloke, and he's got his own channel and I'm going to link him below. I think I have done before. He knows this stuff, he knows what he's on about. He does bushcraft and survival training. The back keeps falling off, like, you know, all week. It's his job. So go over, hit the link, go and check out his stuff. He does what he can, because I know he's working a lot, so you can understand that by going out and doing these videos, it's really going above and beyond the line of duty, so to speak, so they're definitely worth watching. So I've just been watching his videos and it's that's to keep me up arse even though I'm not well. I'm going to fall down here, this is like sheer ice. To get out, get some fresh air and get proactive. I don't know how proactive I'm going to be, but hopefully we're going to be able to get that fire, get that cup of coffee, and we're going to go looking for some cordage. And I know there's some rhododendron trees in here. Now rhododendron trees in this location are not part of the natural habitat, they're trying to get rid of them, but the roots are really good for cordage. See you in a bit, guys. Right, ladies and gentlemen, we're just on his way into the wood now. On the way through, normally in a normal situation, if I were camping out for a weekend, I would use some of these grasses, but this grass, the entire thing, is totally wet through. You can see the snow. See the snow on the ground? It's all absolutely drenched. I can't use any of this. I don't have time to dry it. Like usually you can stick it on your inside pocket, take it in with you and dry it. So I have to be real careful here because it's very sort of frosty and icy. So we're going to go off into the woods now. I've got my big torch on now, and see what we can find for tinder. We've done this before, haven't we? We know what we're doing, don't we, people? Right, okay, I found a big piece of dead standing. It's fallen off a live tree, but it is dead. Now, as Carl says on one of his videos, Carl Dobson, as in one of his videos, if it cracks, it'll crattle. I think that's what he said. So if it cracks, listen, get it? That means it's dry. Now, that's because if you look up above us, I don't know if you can see, but above us, there's like a layer of trees which seems to have kept some of that nasty stuff off. So I'm going to collect some of these pieces of wood which appear to be fairly dry, which I'm very surprised of considering. So I'm going to get some of this and I'm going to stick it in my little pouch and take it with me. And I'll be collecting more of this as I'm going through. Obviously I knew that dead standing stuff is like this, but I just like that. If it cracks, it'll crattle. That's nice, I like that. Thank you, Carl, thank you. Okay guys, so what we're seeing here is the top layer. I've just been doing a little bit here, but top layer of this is absolutely wet through. It's wet through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scrape my knife down to remove some of that dampness of the top. So all it's doing is just scraping the dampness off the top. Now this top layer is wet through, so once I've got through that, because we don't want to damage the tree. As soon as you open it, take the top layer, you know, the layers down to the inner tree, you open it up to infection, and we don't want to do that. We don't want to kill the trees, even though a lot of these trees have actually had it already. You can see this coloration of pink up here. I don't think you can see it. No, you can't quite see it. Let me show you. There's a pink coloration just there. That's where the tree's been condemned to death, basically, by the local authority. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut down very carefully with this knife to take the top layer, this layer out of the way. And it's now, because we scraped that top layer off, alright, it's dry. Well, it's a lot drier than it was anyway. That's all I'm going to do, because normally you can get the feathery stuff on top, but in England, as many people are going to know, it's raining most of the time. You know, we're supposed to get a long summer. It's just like how thin that is, and you've got most of the damp off the top. There we go. We're supposed to get a summer, but we don't get much of a summer. It never lasts long enough, and to be honest with you, you get so much rain during it. It's depressing. Okay, so I'm going to keep doing that and getting these little feathery bits off the surface, leaving almost all the top protective coating on the tree, because that's its immune system. That's how it protects itself. I don't want to be damaging that. So the angle of that is ridiculous. So all these little bits here are going to go towards creating my tinder bundle. There you go, look. Cut into that like that, and just pull that away. Incredibly thin and hopefully drier than it was before, because we're taking the top layer and not damaging the underlayer. Okay guys, this is my knife by MP Custom Blades, by the way. I know it's changed his name lately, but this is a stainless steel one, okay, with the beveled head. Been finding some nice fungus out here as well. Here we go, horseshoe. There you go. We're not going to hurt him, leave him there. I think he's on the end of his lifespan as it is. Before we show you what I've brought with me, look at this little puffball. Look at that, it's exploded and now it's freezing to death. Look at that, how cool is that? You see all them spores inside? Well, it's exploded and thrown them spores all over. There's another one over here which has done the same thing but totally collapsed. And it's going back into nature again. There's a few more over there. Come and see this one. This is cool. Where did I see? There we go. I pushed a stick in this one to try and get it to pop. That's what we're doing it. That's what I used to do when I was a kid. Look, how cool is this? Puffballs, all blowing, all those spores. They're all over around here. Let's go and have a look at the little site that we've got. Here we go. So, I've got my gasifying stove just there, my coffee and my sugar, my water canister and my cup. Alright guys, and the knife. Isn't that lovely? Look at the coloration of that handle. Look how it twinkles. I absolutely love this. It's stainless steel, it's belting. Come back to you in a minute. Okay, we can see that just there is really fine branches, and I get some finer ones than that. Then you get large, rather a bit larger. And then over there I've got some larger than that, then I've got some quite thick ones. The problem is, if you look on these branches, they're still wet through, so I'm going to have to clear off all this rubbish off these branches in order to be able to make them usable, because everything is wet through, and the dry wood is underneath. That's where the dry stuff is, so I need to prepare these down and break them down into pieces I can use. But there is dry wood under there. We've just had a few days of really, really bad weather. So I'm going to prepare these up. And I'll come back to you guys. Okay, got to try and keep that away from the wind now. That was not easy by any stretch of anybody's imagination. Try and get that into there now. Protect it. It is so cold out here that nothing wants to burn. Get some of these fine sticks now. Hope we're not too wet. I did not want to burn. It's such a shame we end up with this such horrible, damp, cold weather all the time in this country. Building it up with small sticks, the larger sticks up to larger sticks, allowing it to breathe. The gas has got the air, oxygen going through there, and gasifying on the way through. Hopefully. Eventually. Right, I'll get off and I'll bring you back when that starts going properly and it starts to gasify properly. Ah, that one, hard work, that one. Right guys, you'll see a lot of smoke coming off that. That is simply the moisture which is, everything is wet through. It's smoking heavily. Even the stuff that's hanging in the trees is damp. Have you noticed when you have a fire, the smoke always comes towards you no matter which direction you're going? Which is quite funny. Oh, something I wanted to point out to people. When you've got your knife, not a knife, the knife, I don't know if you can see, and you've used it, yeah, always make sure you clean off the blade. Simple reason, if it's an 01 tool steel, or it's got a lot of iron in it, yeah, and you just stuff it in there, all the crap that's on your knife is going to go into your sheath. You don't want that, so you just clean it off and pop it in, and you're good. Come on, sweetheart, burn. There's no way you get out off the floor to burn. I'm looking forward to going looking for roots in a bit. I need to get the ash built up in the bottom of there. That's my aim. A lot of people said these take a lot of fuel. They do to a degree, but if you control them, you're on a winner. And just have the wood available, basically. Got all this on here on the side of the tree. That's going lovely now. It's building up, getting some ashes in the bottom of there. Right guys, if you can look, you're going to see that those little jets around the outside are starting to work now. That's the oxygen being drawn up around the outside, heated up and coming through and burning off on the edge through the little jets, and that's what gasification is. Isn't that lovely? What a lovely thing. You can see there, I've put the cup on, but you can still see that gasification's still going on inside there. Look at all that, look at all that steam coming off of that. You can hear it hissing. That's going to work. It's building itself up, building the flames up. And it is very, very hot, by the way. I'll put the lid. Oh, I can't put my lid on, my lid's underneath my gasifier. It's alright, we'll get there eventually, no rush, eh? Smashing. Now you can really see where those gas jets are now. There's bits of wood, the larger bits of wood that I had before, I've managed to get them in now, and that's really starting to work. Look at that go, you can see the actual jets coming out. That's cracking. Why is it though, wherever I go, there's dog hairs in everything. That's it, got it. Look at that go now. That's because I've put those other bits of wood just there, in there, the bigger wood. So this is where these things come into their own. Okay, so now we're at a rolling boil. So what we're going to do is remove him. Well, not going to remove him, I'm just going to keep him near him actually. Just let it do that. I put my sugar in. Crack it. I ain't got a spoon with me, so I'm using a stick because I'm not shy. So we've got the sugar in, and we're going to bang our coffee in as much as we need. Look at that boil, cracking. And it's coffee. Woo! And there she goes. Nice frothy coffee. Frothy coffee. Cracking stuff. Oh, that smells nice. And you can see that wood inside there. Push that in there now. And just push. I can just throw this in now so it can burn off while we pop off. I'll take my coffee with me and we're going to go and have a look. That'll boil down a bit now. For some... there we go. We're going to go and have a look for some roots that we could possibly use for cordage. Yes, we know we can use nettles and such like, but roots are really good. Nettles take ages. You need loads of nettles and it's a massive process. Squashing down the you have to crush down the nettle. Sorry, I've got to take the leaves off first. Crush it down, and then you've got to break it, remove all the pith inside, and then you've got to get the fibres, and then you sort of dry the fibres out, and then you weave them in on the cells. I've seen Bear Grylls does one. Some other people have done them, and I think if I remember rightly, Sierra Survival does one as well. He does a video about it. So I'm going to put this torch on my head now. Let's go hunting for beasties. Okay guys, rhododendrons are not supposed to be here in this wood because they're naughty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find myself... Hang on, I'm coming back, don't panic, don't you panic, I'm coming back. I'm finding myself a nice stick. Ooh, that's good, it's done what I wanted it to. I've got myself a bit of deadfall. And as I've snapped it off, it's done what I wanted. It's given me an edge straight away. Let's tell you what, let's sharpen that off, shall we? There you go. No, it's not sharp enough to kill an elephant, but I don't think I want to anyway, would I? Because I'm one of them plant-eating people. Right, here we go. So there you go. So we've got a nice sharp object on a clean my knife before I put it back in its sheath. Even though it's stainless steel, I don't want loads of crap in there. So we're going to go in here. And we're going underground. Let's have a look at the floor. Now these things spread like lightning. They spread all over. And I know that as I dig down here, like one of the beasts of a wood, I'm going to find some roots. Now this is a big piece of tree. And it's a bit of a messy job, I'm going to be honest. It's a messy job. If I go down there, I know I'm going to find some roots, he says. Come on, where are you? What's this? Right, okay. Got a root. Follow the root. Follow the root. There we go. Where are you going? Where are you going? I'm going quite deep. Okay, well that's only a thin one, so we're going to throw that over there. We're going to use it anyway. Let's find a nice... The best way of doing this really is just to get your hands in. Yep. Oh, I got one. We got one. Come on. Right. So the root goes along as you do, and oh, that's not. Is that? That's not a root. It's a plant. These aren't supposed to be in here, so don't feel sorry for them. Here we go, another one. Okay, I'll use that one. So I'm going to use the ones that I've found, and we'll leave this digging stick just there. Right, if you look at this, it might not look much, but for a plant it's decisively strong. Watch. So if I lock that over and tie it back, that's made a nice piece of twine. Yeah, it's quite strong. Go and get the other one. Get this branch out of the way. Now where did you go? I chucked it over here. Here we go. Now this is an even thicker one. Alright. I'll just put that there. Even thicker one, so I can break all this off here and clean all this up. You can do this, you can clean them up by getting a stick, cutting it straight on top like that. Something more solid than this. This has had its days really. So you cut it straight across like that, put a split in the top, put the root in and then pull the root through. I know, let's go and have a laugh. Okay, so we've got his roots there, alright? But he's got lots of these tendrils that are coming off. So I want to get my piece of stick about there. So I'm going to bang like this there. Where's my other bit there? Where's my cloggy stick? There we go. Ah, that's gone through. Come on, sweetheart. That's a good one. I need to find another stick. Just bear with. Oh, I know what I can use. No, I can't. I'll see you in a minute. I'm going to get another stick. Okay, so you're going to find in this wood, it's a very rotten wood. So everything is rotten. See, it's just falling to bits. Everything is totally rotten. Come on. Here we go. Bang it in there. Okay, so we've gone all the way through. There you go. So I want this side of that piece of wood. Just clean that off. As so. Now what I'm going to do is put a gap down there. Alright. So I need to, and the ground is sodden and all, which is a problem. So I'm literally going to have to work it the other way around. Instead of hitting it with the knife, I'm going to have to do it the other way around. That's it. So we've got a split in the wood. Now the problem I've got is that this wood is sodden. So I'll have to use this tree trunk to my advantage. So get it down to there. I'll clean off my knife. Again, this is stainless steel, so it don't really matter much to the knife. I just don't want to get my sheath all messed up. And if you're using old one tool steel or such like, you're going to have problems, aren't you? Right. So then you'd get your root, get it inside there. Oh, it's not, that one's not strong enough to go through a process, but hopefully this one is going to be. Let's open that up a little bit more. There we go. Clean. Pop that through there and then just pull it, and that will be taking all that rubbish off that root. See, it's all coming off at the other side. And you're ending up with just like a strand. Alright, let's pull all the big lumps off. See, all that dirt and rubbish is in there now. And we ended up with a much cleaner piece of root, which can be used as a piece of cordage. And it's very, very strong. Very strong. I'm pulling up almost everything I've got. That is really strong, and that is going to hold things together. So that, for example, so yeah, you can create cordage from things, as in a fibrous build-up. But for example, there, put that just like that, overlap. But imagine this on a larger scale, obviously. Pull it tight, overlap it, and come back up. Alright. Then go back on itself. Sorry, I'll just go round to there. Then I can underlap that. I've gone under there instead of over. Won't be a minute outside. So I can underlap that from there, so it goes under itself, so it ties itself off. This is very fidgety because of the tree. Push that up. There, come on. I know you weren't designed to be cordage, but you're going to do the job. Here we go. And he's up there. So I can then feel that through. Pull it round, pull it round, pull it round. And there you go. It starts to become cordage. Okay, guys. Pulling that tight. So you can imagine that on a larger scale if you got, because you can get these tendrils which come off these trees and they're very, very long. So pull that out. So you go. You can use this kind of root and other roots like it as forms of cordage. Cracking stuff. And how fast were it to use? And in some of these, when you get thicker ones, you can actually split them down the middle to make double the length. This is a very, very thin one. This is a tiny little tendril. Some of them are like, I once pulled one out of the ground which were about 20 feet long. Something stupid, and that's why rhododendrons are so bad in the outdoors, because they take over environments. Yeah? So I've just pulled that off there and it's still in one piece. There you go. So there you go. That's what you can use for one particular form of cordage. You can also use types of bark and such like. Oh, I'm going to pop back over there and go and get my cup of coffee. Right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming along with me while I've been out here, coming down with Flo, feeling absolutely horrendous, and the process of getting here and putting the fire in and getting myself a nice cup of coffee. Ah, well deserved. Making the video and then going looking in the ground for roots for cordage. The entire process has taken my mind off my cold, or whatever it is I've got, for a short period of time. Now I'm going to go back, get myself a Beecham's powder flu remedy, and I'm not sponsored by Beecham powders, by the way, in case you're interested. I'm going to clean my knife and I'm going to put my bits and bobs away, and I'm going to go and crash out. But thank you very, very much for coming along. I hope this has been used here. It is difficult in wet weather, especially England and such countries in Europe and such like. And it's even difficult in some hot countries where the humidity is really high because everything gets damp. So it's always going to be a challenge to get a fire going, whether it's to make a coffee or for survival. We're going to be looking this year at getting down to using a bow drill and constantly sourcing bow drill materials and creating them and using a bow drill a long period of time, because I'm going to have camps coming up this year where I just go out with a knife. So I've just literally got a knife, so I've got to try and find different ways of making fire, shelters, and we'll be using this cordage, different kinds of cordage, and I'll be and sometimes making shelters without any cordage at all, which is what I wanted to do yesterday night. But because me and Lucy have come downhill, we haven't been able to. Blooming it, that's really hot. But thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please remember to like, share and subscribe, and go and check out Sierra Survival. All right. He's a lovely bloke, he really is, and he comes over very well on his videos, and he does it full time. He's he's ex-army, he's done lots of other different jobs in security and such like, and now he's teaching young people, people in industry and the military over in another country which I've forgotten. So he knows his stuff, he does it every day. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you all again soon. Bye for now from Ian Lawrence at Ian's YouTube channel. Okay, so just an afterword. Not very often I do one of these, but I'm going to do one. Sierra Survival. I'm going to push him on this video, and the reason I've mentioned him so much is because had it not been for him putting his video out, I watched a couple of his videos and we're feeling crap. I just needed to motivate myself, and I saw his video and it motivated me personally to getting out again, even though I'm coming down with a horrible cold. So if you watch his videos, it'll hopefully motivate you to getting out as well, as I hope my videos do. So anybody who's sort of doing what I do, I appreciate it, and it's worth pushing. He needs more subscribers. He ain't got a massive subscriber base, and the content of his videos are very high quality, so I think he deserves a pat on the back and a bit of promotion. I'm hoping myself, I hope my subscriber base gets bigger. All right, so big call out to Sierra Survival on YouTube. I'll put the link, like I said before, I'll put the link below. See you in a bit.